Aumer Hadi from DXC Technologies, and we're going to talk today about his role using large language models in developer productivity. Obviously at Gradle we have a lot of opinions about developer productivity, and we have our own suite of tools. And we get asked questions all the time, what is the role of generative AI? What is the role of large language models sort of in this space? So Aumer, maybe you could introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and let us know kind of some of your opinions on this subject.
Yeah, of course, thank you. So my name is Aumer Hadi. I am AI solution leader and architect at DXC Technology. We're focusing on building software for insurance companies, and we are working always to be lead in technology and providing the services up to date with new technologies available.
Excellent. And so tell me then a little bit about your role and maybe how you came into working with AI, and what was it like, even the experience of making that decision? Hey, we're gonna invest in this, because I feel like everybody's like, okay, we got to do something with AI, right? But then it's like, well, do we actually develop a solution? Or maybe tell me about that experience, and then how did you start really gaining value out of this?
That's a very good question. So we at DXC, we always focus on finding what is the newest technology, where we can improve and provide more productivity for our internal teams and other customers we are providing. So one of the things which is everybody's focusing on now is generative AI. Everybody's looking, how is that? Some of them are scared of generative AI, but we try to find what can be the best solution we use and help us. So we start to investigate that. I am leading the research related to using generative AI with our system, with our software, and we try to find how we can, on the different level. First, how we can improve the productivity of our team, internal team, for developing software and services, and then second, how we can make these services safe and secure for our customers to use it without they have the risk of leaked data or losing information, or their information, customer personal information, be leaked to the public.
Tell me a little bit about that, because I think there's all kinds of concerns about AI. Some of them are founded, some of them not. A lot of them center around more ethical concerns and stuff. You don't hear a lot about the discussion really around security in AI. You hear some things about, now any 5-year-old can generate a reverse shell script in Python or something like that, but that's a concern in and of itself. But tell me a little bit more about maybe this data privacy concern.
Yeah, so that is one of the main things which we are focusing on, is how we can secure the data. So there is multiple levels you can secure the data. If you just make your data open to any generative large language model, or generative AI, it will be available to public and will be unsecured. But we put multiple layers to protect. So we filter where you are filter the data you are sharing, and be sure whatever you are using language model, it is built and used in a secure location, and it's only available for you as a customer instead of open to public. And we also, as I mentioned, we have different layers for security. So if you're passing your connector database or connect your document, we will filter any information you use before you open it to public. So social security number for customers, credit card, email, names, all will be filtered before it's go to any open language model available.
What does the engineering structure look like for the organization that's building this type of software? Do you have is there very clear delineation between the folks that are working on data models and the data science aspect of this versus the folks who are writing code? Is that a lot of the same people? How does that work? And if it's different groups, tell me a little bit about how, in your organization, these folks who live in very different worlds are collaborating and working together.
Right. So DXC is a very big company. We have a branch all over the world. We're one of the leaders in insurance. So as you said, there is a lot of teams, a lot of groups working on AI and different. But what we did now, we create the Apply Intelligence team, which is the team I am leading now, and we create the infrastructure, the frameworks where other teams can use. So everything will be standard and applied to all other teams and use the same thing. There is no one who doing his own research on the side or did some POC, a small sample, and he tried to put it. No, everything must be reviewed, approved before it can go to any application or software, or can be before it go to production.
Okay, so governance kind of plays a lot into how you're kind of able to enforce that. Is that managed through like a platform team? Like, do you have, for instance, like your typical developer platform team that's responsible for like rolling out these types of tools and then enforcing and governing the rules through that? Is it more process driven? Is it kind of a mix of both? I mean, tell me a little bit about how you're able to realize that.
So yeah, we have a platform team where it's anything related to development or software, it's coming through that development team, where we identify first which the standard you should follow, what's the rules, and also providing tools. So we develop work in AI, in security, in infrastructure, in the front end UX, all of the pieces of the parts of process of development automation. All of these pieces are work together in the framework in the platform team, and we roll all these standards for other teams to use.
So with that, we're here at All Things Open, right? And this is a conference that I've been involved with for years. Even before my time at Gradle was involved with this conference at Open Logic. Obviously one of the premier shows for learning about kind of what's going on in the world of open source. So where is that world right now? I mean, I know that we have TensorFlow, we've got PyBrain, we've got PyTorch. Is it fair to say that a lot of these open models and frameworks are still sort of leading the pack when it comes to the development that you're doing? Or would you say that the majority of it's coming in-house? Where is that mostly coming from? And then how does that relate to the overall productivity of your teams?
That's a very good question. So we use a lot of open source technology, and we're also releasing a lot of open source technology. So we work on communication with open source community is continue and open. We use benefit, and we also try to help by releasing services or libraries to that open source. So services like TensorFlow, like other open source related to AI, other than AI, something related to security, other things, we also use that and benefit of that and run it. Now, when we run it in a more enterprise level than just like the small version or open source version, more enterprise where we add to it more protection, security, all of that will be applied to that system and make it used with our software. So yes, we're always looking at evaluate open source and like closed source or the things which is provided by you have to pay or to get license for it. We're evaluating each one and find which one is work and provide more service, and definitely that's helpful with developers.
Can you tell us, obviously I'm sure some of it's proprietary, but can you tell us maybe what some of those libraries are and maybe why you made those choices to curate those particular libraries?
To be specific, maybe I can't share more details, but in general, like using libraries, like for example, TensorFlow, one of the ones we are used recently for a project we did. We use also others for security, like searching for if there is any virus when the customer is uploading a file. There is others, but I can't share.
Sure. No, I understand that. So maybe what at All Things Open are you kind of hoping to glean? Are there any talks in particular that you're really looking forward to, or any subjects in particular that you're hoping to learn more about?
Yeah, definitely AI and machine learning, that's my main goal. But
Sure.
there is a lot of interesting topics. Yesterday we had the talk about diversity and how we can work with the DEI, I think DEI.
Diversity, equality, and inclusion. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That was very open-eye topic. We're working on that before, but we want to add more to that. So there's a lot of things I learned about that and new ideas that I can benefit of and apply to work with my team and also try to provide that to the company or where I work. There is a couple of events also related to community work, open source with community. That's something I'm interested to get more and participate more in open source. So these are subjects, and we'll see. There's a lot of interesting sessions. It's hard. I'm glad All Things Open, they made some of them recorded.
Yes.
So I can go to others and go back to record one watch later.
There's always so many, great topics, and it's just grown and grown and grown, and like the quality of speakers just is always so impressive here. To zoom in a little bit more on that subject, how, as a data scientist, somebody who understands objectively, the concept of bias in the data and things like that, how important are these diversity initiatives to building and training an AI model that's going to operate correctly under all conditions?
Well, that's a huge even people they don't think it's important because majority of data is available, but you have a small part of the data which is unfortunately for the language for ML and language model, it's default remove that or doesn't include it because it's focused on the big part, but we have to find a way to enforce it because you should consider always not all people are the same. The cultures are different. They all apply to decision. So when you look at person, he doesn't try to apply rule. There is always a photo on Twitter or LinkedIn about a test for fish, monkey, and I think rabbits who can faster climb the tree. And that doesn't make sense because fish or others, that's each one has its own culture, its own way of looking at things, own way of things. It's a unique way, so we cannot apply all the rules. So take that back to the AI and how can AI and ML benefit of that. We have to enforce these minorities, enforce these the small data, and apply it to be part of the decision. So it's not about the majority, it's all about grouping these. So you have minority group, it has to have the same weight as a majority group of the data. So if minority 10% and the majority is 90%, you cannot eliminate that. This should have 50-50 weight to the decision of the model, to the model or AI or anything.
That's really interesting. So there's almost like an intentionality to the way that you're training and the way that you source the data to ensure again that it remains kind of like universally applicable. Great. Well, listen, this was a super interesting conversation with you. If you could leave us with one, give us a productivity hack. What do you do during your week to stay productive, especially given that every single day I think we find ourselves with new tools that can distract us and take us away from our work. What do you do to maintain focus?
So two things I use personally, and it is helped me from my side, and maybe it's helped others. I don't know. I'll just tell you. First thing is, if you don't try, you will never know. Always try. Try. Ask. Talk. If you don't try it, you'll never know what happened. So if you have an idea, share it with someone. If you have things you can improve in the work, talk to someone. They will definitely benefit of that. And maybe it's not the first idea, maybe not the second, but sometimes their idea will stick and happen. Second, always allocate time to help yourself, to work on yourself. Always. Like, I know we work 12 hours a day and we are busy with other things, but allocate at least 1 hour. Must block that time for your skills, for your personal information, to be able to grow, and your team will grow, your company will grow, your community will grow with you.
Love that. That's a great sentiment. I mean, it is just that time, focus, and staying in that flow state that's so sort of sacred to our work. Well, Aumer, this was a wonderful conversation. Great talking with you, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.